Kill la Kill, and I just kind of had to, put kind of a sheen over and like blind myself to the fan service, or like become so used to it that I just didn't notice it anymore. And now here's the fact where my dad, he has actually started watching Kill la Kill.
Oh my
and it's
God.
like a soul, because like I think he's like on the 4th or 5th episode now, and he only started it like a couple days ago, and he keeps like I warned him before he watches the show. I'm like, Dad, I don't know if I want to talk about the show with you.
You can watch it, but let's just agree to respectively believe we never watched it together. One behind you though. Yeah.
Someone over there said that was like the show's kind of satirical about like the fan service stuff. I don't actually I never got the impression it was, because like in episode 3 they talk about just like having no shame in like who you are and like your body and all that. So yeah, I think it was just like the show's having no shame about showing off its characters.
I think that's something really great about Kill la Kill too, is it has message upon message, such as rely on yourself, but there's still friends here that can help you.
Don't lose your way.
I'm important. Don't lose your way. Be proud of your body, and if people try to shame you for what you love to do, or if it makes you feel good, or if it gets you closer to what you want to do, like cosplayers, for example, who wear these outfits and they'll be like, oh, these sluts. If that's what they love doing, and if that's gonna get them further, then that shouldn't matter what other people say. And I think that's a really beautiful part of Kill la Kill, that people will see and go, that's bullshit, and that upsets me to no end, because that's one of the biggest morals. And that's really why I love the fan service myself. Yeah.
It's great how the women, in the show, after episode 3 or 4, they no longer touch on, in the first episode they were all making fun of Ryoko about the outfit. Even she makes a comment at Satsuki, but after that, it's just kind of like no one touches on it anymore. But Mitsuki always kind of does remain an object of fan service. One of my favorite parts being when Ryoko's in the infirmary, unconscious, and Mako's mom's there, and then her eyes are just slowly going down.
If you actually watch that scene, they never leave his penis. Never. The whole, even when I think it blows up in that scene or something big happens, and she's still just like,
yeah. Explosion of light.
I remember when I first
Louder,
started
dude.
watching it, at first I was like, this is kind of ridiculous, and I didn't like it, but then as I kept watching it, by doing it so much, it kind of desensitized what other fringe meanings you could get out of it, and you just kind of like the characters. So after a while, it doesn't really do anything good or bad, it just is what it is, and then other points start coming in that take your attention, like this overall battle they're doing, and friendship and all that.
friendship.
It's magic.
Yeah, I was thinking about the desensitization, how with all the fan service stuff, throughout the show, it got to the point where you were just so used to the characters not pretty much wearing anything, to the point where I completely missed that the entire cast of the show was completely made that way.
Yeah, that's true.
I completely missed that at first. I'm just like, wait.
They're wearing slightly less clothes than they were before.
Slightly.
What is this
Cloth
nudity?
Yeah.
I think that's something cool about it being on Adult Swim now too. How many of you guys are watching it through Adult Swim? You guys are. Did you guys watch last night's episode?
Mm-hmm.
Good. It's all about me, right? That's the episode you were on. Good.
About that Mako. About that Mako.
Oh yeah. No one asked you. I'm sorry, you don't get an episode. I have to get held by Hookah when we're doing the raid. They're holograms, Nana. They're holograms.
No, guys. No.
It's my marching crew action.
This is the real ending of Kill la Kill. Wow.
OPA number 2.
God. I think that'll be something interesting too, is we'll discuss the OVA in a bit. How many of you guys have seen the OVA? Okay, so not a lot of you, that's okay. Like I said, it's just about Ryoko and Mako making out for 25 minutes straight. Not not actually that good show. That'd be a great OVA in my opinion. For those who, okay, I guess let's do this then. For those who haven't seen the OVA, what do you think it's about? So you first, and then you.
Ryoku, Mako, Satsuki go to mall, have adventures while the Elite Four tries to interrupt their not date, and shenanigans ensue.
That would
If
have made
only.
me very happy.
That would have been great.
I saw you next. Unless you don't want to talk anymore.
What happened, I guess, after the Gamagori Mako character never happened.
It didn't.
We'll hold open who Mako
feel you,
gets
bro.
with in a bit.
I feel you.
We'll open up Mako discussion in a moment because I'll get heated about that fast.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was one, so now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I could either imagine it being kind of like slice of lifey, like what he was mentioning, or it could be like maybe something like, I don't know, Ryuko growing up with her dad.
That'd be cute, like a past thing. That'd be actually really
That'd
cute.
be.
Have you already seen it though?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, so you know that it's...
I hope I have. I'm hosting a panel.
I think it's about Kill la Kill.
Well, you're not wrong.
So there's the door.
Well, we can't tell you you're wrong.
I think, okay, then. Oh, but.
That's what I want.
Well, they
Nudist
lived in the
beach.
middle of the. Yeah. Wait a minute. The nudist beach was the whole new beach episode. It just went through the whole series. But no, you'd really think there would because they lived on an island in the middle of a lake, as far as we're aware. Like, because towards the end of the series, when it sinks, you just see this really beautiful ocean. So I'm surprised that you couldn't go down to the water. But anyway, let's open up my favorite piece of discussion. For people who have finished, who ships Ryuko and Mako? And who ships Gamagori and Mako? Alright, you guys are going to defend... Oh, sorry, I'm Ryoko, Mako. You guys get to defend your ships now. Let's hear it for Gamagori and Mako. What's your justifications? How do you think the series ended? Do you think he went and romanced her with them flowers? What goes on? I saw you first.
At the very end, he brings her flowers when they were going on their date or whatever. So it's kind of like it's Ryuko and Mako could have had a thing, but then at the very end, at the end slate, you see him bring her flowers. So I think it's up to the fans to decide. I'm on both sides, but I don't know.
That's why I like bringing it up for discussions, because it really is fan-based, and it's really fun to hear like the arguments that it can ensue.
Counterpoint, we only saw him with flowers. He could have been bringing them for Satsuki.
Aww.
No.
Satsuki, I know you've had a hard time. Take this.
Okay, given how well Gamagori knows Satsuki, do you think he'd bring her flowers or like a chain whip or something?
Exactly. New boots.
We didn't see what was under that suit.
Oh no. Nothing, because nude is the beach.
I'm just saying, Gamagori was the only one who was ever soft on Mako. Like, in the big scene where it's No Party's Day, he's yelling at Ryoko, and then Mako stands up all of a sudden next to him, and he's actually the only one who ever, like, I concede this point to you on this one time. But then throughout the series, he's always flustered or, like, being nice to her more than any, even to the Elite Four. He's nicer to Mako than the people he's been working with for years upon years.
I think that's something interesting too, is I feel like a big part of why he got softer on her and why, like, you know, not trying to like unjustify your point towards the ship, due to my bias. I feel like a big part of it is in the whole series, Mako's the first person to civilly stand up to Gamagori. Ryoko went, I'm gonna murder you! But Mako went, don't you know that people wear PJs when they're sleeping? Don't you wear PJs? No, I sleep in the nude. What's wrong with you? You get a cold! Like, she was concerned for it, but she stood up to him. And I feel like that, first off, caught him off guard. But then the fact that she was nicely, like, going at him, really, like, made him flustered. I feel like that might have be what sparked the crush of this first time type of a deal. I saw the one with the half devil horn first.
Gamagori like pretended to die to defend Mako from the attack. She cried a lot.
She made a river
I thought
out of
that was she was fine.
Literally crying.
He did it so he would impress her. So I thought that was really cool. I think like
I think it's interesting too that Gamagori had like that iron pecs Like, it was, Gamagori amazes me. Okay, was there any more for Gamamako? Okay, these four, then we're switching. You first, then you, and then you really want to say something? Okay, then you. So go ahead.
Maybe not necessarily for the ship, but just in general. Mako's like a model student. She like shows up on time, doesn't cause trouble. Like, in general, is not like a person that the disciplinary committee would have a problem with.
I see where you're coming from there. I said you next, right?
I feel like as a potential relationship, not necessarily because of what was explicitly shown between their interactions in the series, I feel like Mako and Gamagori do very much like epitomize a lot of like traditional female ideals and the male ideals, so they tend to balance each other in a relationship.
That's cute. There was another one over there that I said could go? No? Okay.
Come on, it's Gamagori. Who can risk that giant hunk of man meat?
That could be taken
He's
in
got
another
whips.
way.
So he likes it.
Okay.
So
Now
we all
let's
know what
switch.
type of man you are.
Okay, Ryuko Mako? I'll get into my like 10-minute long rant after you guys go ahead. So please feel free to waste time so I cool off. I'll go for her and then for you.
Okay, so I feel like Mako and Gamagori, although the relationship was cute, I feel like Mako only like Gamagori is like a friend or a superior or something. Even though Gamagori probably was in love with Mako, I don't think she returned his love. I think she was more, in love with Ryuko.
Like this if you cry every time.
I think that Mako's more in love with food than anything else. And also just being like the epitome of friendship and adorableness that she could probably just reach out to anybody. But why not both?
Polly and Mori for the win. The girl and then you, Ash.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't see Mako as like a one-person chick. I definitely think she would have a little bit of both.
As Mako, Mach, and Shoku myself, I agree.
I don't see it that way. The way I see the story is that, at the very beginning, Ryuko is alone. She's fighting on her own, and it's all about her gaining the relationship. She gets her sister, and I feel like the growth between her and Mako is so large. Like, Mako and Gamagori are cute. They have like a cute little friendship, but there's not a lot of growth there. There's not a lot of depth. Yeah, it's pretty low key. But by the end, Ryuko was so attached to Mako, and Mako was like, yeah, I'm always going to be good for you, and I feel like that's why.
Okay, so I ship both Mako and Gamagori and Mako and Ryuko. I ship Mako and Ryuko because I feel like Mako is someone who like brings Ryuko down because I know that Ryuko can get somewhat out of hand at times, and like especially in that episode where she like lost all control, and Mako was kind of like the only one that could like, kind of tame her and like say, you can't do this, like you have to calm down, and I think that they would balance each other out very well. And the episode where Mako kind of gets, really selfish, and she gets, because she gets rich, and I think Ryuko's the one who like, says, okay, Mako, you gotta calm down, and I think they both balance each other out very well regarding that.
Pretty much what you said, and then also, one, they're really cute together, plus, like, they live together, so then, like, already, you're like, well, you don't need, like, the awkwardness of, like, meeting Gamagori's parents. Because you're like, well, we already know each other, so it's fine. I mean, like...
So that's why you were taking that.
Okay, I'm gonna go on my 2 minutes of soapbox here. I'm gonna start off with my justification of Ryuko Mako as simply, they kissed. Now I know you guys are like, what? No, they didn't. In Mako's hallelujah moment at the end, they do kiss for approximately 0.5 seconds. I actually have a screenshot of it saved on my computer as my background for a little while. They do kiss at the end, and then there's the whole fact that they do go on the date. Although people are like, well, they had Satsuki along. Well, technically they ran into Satsuki, who is super cute with her short hair, by the way. So I feel... Well, not Satsuki forever. We can do, yeah, let's do other ship discussions. Is there like this OTP that you're like, I need to tell you guys about this right now? Yes.
Hey, I'm sorry, real quick back on the other thing, because when she mentioned how they kind of complement each other in both those scenes, it made me think of like in what way they do it, because like with Ryuko when like Mako is being like really selfish and hitting on her, it's like Ryuko understands the need to vent because she's a very violent person, so she doesn't do anything. She just stands there and lets it happen because she understands. And then Mako, when it came time for her, she understands like her strength is to reach out and empath and like just burning friendship. So like she did via hugs, and I think it's interesting that they both reached out to something the other person didn't know they need about themselves, like just by kind of having their own way of doing it.
That's actually really, really good. Good job. Claps for ships. But seriously, is there that OTP that you guys like really are like, this is so random? Yo.
Oh, it's not random. I love Satsuki and
Satsuki, no, 5 ever.
It's like when she's like, I'm on your level now, and then she's like, oh, I'm above you now. Like, oh, in the sandcastle. Yeah, they do. So, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We can get flustered over ships.
I ship Miki Sushi with everyone.
I'll take it.
Works.
I do genuinely ship Mikisugi and Sumugu a little. I've seen Sumugu and Ryoko as a ship, but the only way I can see that justified is they have the same color scheme. I thought they were going to be related. I was really wrong. I got the completely wrong siblings. Which is another thing. What do you guys think about Satsuki and Ryoko? Cover your ears if you haven't watched it. Being sisters!
As soon as they mentioned Genketsu, I was like, they're sisters, aren't they? And
Yeah,
these
they
two
got
guys,
on, like,
we were watching.
episode 3.
They were
It was ridiculous.
It was like episode 18 we were on, and I was trying to catch up, and it was like episode 3, and they showed Genketsu right at the end. I turned to them, I'm just like, they're sisters, aren't they? And they're like,
Why would
no,
you
they're
think
not.
that? No, we didn't actually say no. We said, why would you think that?
Yeah, they're like, no, why would you think that? I'm like, I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. I'm not dumb. So.
At first I really didn't consider it, then when they finally introduced it, I looked at their character designs, I realized that they actually have similar faces and stuff.
I feel like, cause they have the same hair color too. This, like, since she's life fiber, and like we saw this actually cut through life fibers, I feel like, you know, that's a big thing. So that would be where the most difference is in them. So I see where you're coming from, because she's successfully life fibers. Go ahead.
I think the scenes where they do kind of act like sisters for the first time are some of the best scenes in it. Like when they first do like the dual transformation, they call each other like hesitantly sis, and at the very end when Satsuki just completely breaks character and just screams sis as she's running from her, she's flying through the sky, just the best scenes in the Killer.
I think the real question is, how many of you were shipping Ryuko and Satsuki before you realized they were sisters?
And then how many of you guys didn't ditch the ship when you guys felt like, oh, I'm already trash, I can't leave now?
Pretty much.
I wanted to ask him, like, how many ships Grim Power were completely destroyed?
Just immediately, like, people just either jumped ship or went, oh, it's too late for me. It's too late, I can't leave now. I've done too many theories. Good.
It was already an incestuous family to begin with.
That's gross. I think,
That's
okay.
why you were all on a date.
You stop that! Right, I don't know if you guys heard me say maybe that's why they were all on a date together.
The bad touch.
Ew.
I like you, friend.
Oh,
I like you.
I think that might be something interesting. Do you have something?
I mean, it's not wrong.
Yeah. I think it might be something interesting to bring up about Ragyo too, about why she's so damn like, I hate this woman with all of my guts, is with all of her scenes, she was incestuous with her own child. She treated her child like garbage, and then threw away. Ryoko's a trash baby. She threw away her own baby. And then between the incest, the awkward like 5-minute long spanking scene there is, that it was absolutely unnecessary and grosses me out to this day. I feel like that really made Ragyo even more evil than she, like, it gave us a personal level of, like, I hate this woman, I want her dead type of a deal, instead of just, oh, she's evil, she needs to die, like, type of a deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, Ragyo's just obsessed with, like, beauty, and so she's just like admiring her just physically that she's beautiful, and then it got the spanking scene threw that out of the window.
Spanking scene might be the worst scene in Kill la Kill, and I don't know if like you guys want to fight me on this. Like if anybody has any worse scenes than that, please feel free, go ahead.